Hello, this is Tradespotting. I am Jamie, and here we cover technical analysis, mostly with a focus on GME. So looking at the GME chart, 183 spot 38. On this 4-hour chart, you can see we're on the 200 period simple moving average. We've got a couple of support levels that are relevant to price action at the minute, around 186.85 and then down around 178.29, where we previously put in a divergent low, a wick, and then on the 4-hour it was a candle close. On the 1 hour there was a divergence there which brought prices back up. It didn't manage to break support and resistance levels, so here we are again testing these levels. There's been little or no volume. There was something off the back of that signal here, but nothing significant. When I say significant, I mean changing the trend. Pardon me, let's set this up. Okay, so price is down here. Is it scary? No, not really. Is it a buy? For today, today's prices, you would be looking and thinking, do we get this third touch of divergence? With another lower low in around that 177. What would you call that? 177, it says it here, 97. But I'd prefer 177.77 or 177.69. Just cause, but that's the sort of level you're looking at, like slightly low. I mean, you obviously got actual. Hello? Right. So that app I had on suddenly stopped. Did it stop beforehand? Did we catch anything? Did anybody see anything that happened? Thanks so much for the Christian Richardson for letting me know with the donation that the microphone
That's how it's
gone.
done. Who's next?
Thank you very much. So how long did that last for? Did you get anything? We're back, but what did we miss? Was it an extended period of time? Was it the whole thing from the start? Sugar, I'm not very good at this, am I? Yesterday I thought, like, what I'll do is, right, I'll make an all-day stream, and then I'll make loads of clips on things anybody wants. And I did that. And I started today's stream with 47 less subscribers than I started yesterday. So I don't know what I did wrong yesterday. But something, somewhere on the internet, something wrong. Because that's like net I also gained some, so losing so many was like, what happened? How Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman. Caught none of the TA past divergence. Back. Since I mentioned 17769. Okay, so we got something. Shall we start again and do it properly though? Yeah, let's start again and do it properly. We'll keep these two indicators up because we'll keep it simple. And people will be wondering what's up, so which timeline's best to start on? Well, people will tune in wanting to see if anyone does fucking... Pardon me, still... sounds a goner. Again, nah, sounds back. It's God. You didn't swear all day yesterday. Yeah, okay, right. What'll I do today then? Don't count, don't worry. Yeah, since you... Right, okay, so I don't know. Did I keep that swearing thing going or what? I mean, what was it? What was the problem? Who knows? Just keep on trucking, right? See what goes. Maybe these are the friends we needed losing along the way. Maybe I shouldn't have been covering this. Before I get started, right? Look at some of the stuff we covered, right? I mean, did you watch my Mida video, right? It's down 42% today. Do you know? Like that. I don't know if anyone watched that video, but it lost me subscribers, and it was important. You know, the things I was saying on here was important. You know, things I said about this were like, you know, there's like life-changing amounts of money being lost on this thing, you know, and I put out this TA yesterday on this thing, telling people like it was going to here. People are just losing so much fucking money. They're just losing so much money. You know, if well, all I can hope is that the people selling it are the 500 people who watch this video. Because that's like, you know. So I did that. What did I say about this? Well, you'll know what I said about this because I was afraid of even making the video, right? I was afraid of making this video. And I was trying, if you were watching along, you will have seen me like consternation I had trying to come up with a title and whatnot. And when I was delivering to you what I was saying and that, and I was like, wait, you know, and like how bad that might be for it, you know. So maybe that was why I lost subscribers, because I said what I said about this. But like then this happened, and like this is something I've been like a little bit anxious about for a while, right? Not right now with regards to GME, because I'd be saying it if it was true, right? I'd be saying it, and AMC is an example of it, what I said yesterday, right? Now I'm sorry if this pisses people off or whatever, but like this is the way, like the channel can't be sustainable if I just sit here and lie, right? I have, and like I can say both sides of the story, right? And I do always, so that everyone knows. And I said to both sides of this. But if it looks like it's going to drop down, right? If it's at like $44 and it looks like it's going to 36, and it looks like it might go to 26, and like there's plenty of reasons for it to be bought up all the way before there, but like if it looks like that's happening right down here at 33 levels, right? I'd say it, right? And this is not negative about AMC. I'm saying if it got here, I'd buy loads, right? You can watch yesterday's video. It was quite positive about AMC, but I was also like talking about how this looked, right? And it wasn't good. In my opinion, you need a bit more consistent. Regular start, end of the stream, so people will know when to start tuning in. Says Hunter. Yo, Hunter, you're right. I do need that. Right? So, I also noticed that, like, by the end of yesterday's stream, there was, like, nobody really tuning in at that stage, you know, and it's maybe because I took a break in the middle, so they thought, like, oh, you know, just go and watch somebody else, and then when they were there, they weren't coming back, or they got on with their day, or whatever. Or they didn't know when I was coming back, and so on. So, yeah, so that'll be it, right? That'll be a part of it, but then nobody watched the clips either. Like nobody watched all those clips, and people unsubscribed. So I don't know, like what that is. Like it's something out there that happened. Net had that effect, right? But like not that it's not anyway. It's just I want to be doing the right thing for you guys, right? So if I'm saying something wrong, right, just tell me in the chat. Hey, it's not the people that left that I give two sheets about. It's yourself. So if I'm saying it like, make no mistake, we love the rats, Jimmy. We effing need them. You're speaking on behalf of us when we all go off. Yo, Scott. Cheers. We all want to hear the truth, and maybe some people can't handle it. Yo, yeah. So this is the thing, right? That's the dichotomy of the audience. Like, you found me for one of two reasons, right? And you'll know me for one of two reasons. One, because I'm quite emotional about what we're doing here. So you'll have seen the rants, and that's what YouTube calls them. But like, they're like, for me personally, the can be like quite draining. You know, it's like cracking open a rib cage and like screaming everything that can possibly be shouted in one expression of like essentially like frustration and pain. Right? It's not like, oh, I love doing this. Hey, I've got energy, so much energy in life, and that I put energy towards this because I care about it. Right? So a lot of people have seen me because of that, right? And yeah, I'm an emotional guy. And so, thanks very much for tuning in. If you appreciate that side of my character, that's really great. It was a big validation being on YouTube. But then, actually, when you look at the subscriber growth and where it comes from, it's usually from price calls, right? It's usually because a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after I've said something was just different from everybody else. People are like, that guy said that thing, and then it goes up, and that's like also happens because other YouTubers see what I say sometimes, and then those 2 or 3 weeks later go past, and they're like, Tradespotting, he's the one right away, and so those people recommend this channel. So that's like partly, maybe that's why you arrived here, right? Either somebody word of mouth said this guy called it, or a different YouTuber said this guy calls it, or you saw a rant, right? So that's the two things, right? This is two things. So if I do a stream where I rant lots, some people are like, where was the TA? Can we skip through this shit? I just wanted to see the TA. And other people, when I do the TA, are like, this is dead boring. Me, I'm not really here for this. And so it's like, then the overlap, like the Venn diagram or whatever, isn't necessarily where you want to be aiming in terms of YouTube, because it does get like hardcore awesome ass subscribers who all like are really my friends. These are all internet buddies. Sorry, this is so off topic, but on the other hand, it doesn't like get a huge audience, right? So then like when I think like, oh, I want the channel to be supported by the audience, but in a way that's like good value to everybody, that best value is obviously from a wider number of people, right? So that less people contribute more like them individually and whatever, and it's still like channel still grows, right? And I think in my mind that's around 30,000 subscribers, looking at other people that do this thing like and pay their bills and whatever. But like there again, right, they all get like vastly higher advertising revenue, right? Like the equivalent, I've spoken to people that I've done other streams with and talked to other YouTubers, and they get right around 35 to 40 bucks CPM, right? I get 3 or 4, right? So it may be that I need like 300,000 to get the equivalent. Anyway, right? But we've also got like this other we got a really generous audience who do super chats, and like I've got the Bing Bong t-shirts at Unreasonable.shop and things like that. So that like makes it something. But then I give that all again away to people and things, and like so the channel itself doesn't actually. Anyway, right? Long story short, right? I want to be making sure that the people who do tune in keep coming back, because it's all about the best way of getting your channel to grow is getting YouTube algorithm to support it, and the YouTube algorithm does that based on how your subscribers interact. So like using a chat, so there's loads of things set up in chat to do that are fun. And also I benefit from the fact that so many of the members of the audience here actually are on like members of audience of other YouTube channels and on Superstonk and other places. And like some of these are big traders, and like I help each other so much in the audience, right? And also benefit from the fact that Rocky Outcrops shares such a big part of the audience, and he's got such a really wholesome educational based community. So like that all sleeps back through, and the chat's really good, right? The chat box here is really awesome, and like these are, like I say, these are all my internet buddies. That's what it's like. It's not a fan type thing at all, right? There's absolutely, like, and I'm going to take a break here from the non-swearing thing. There's fuck all of that around, right? Like, I don't fucking want that. It isn't like that. If you ever see me anywhere else on the internet and you're like, oh, I'm a fan in that, I might tell you, fuck off, right? Because I hate it, and I hate it being done in public as well. It's like super cringe and embarrassing. Like, don't come at me if you're my fan, right? It definitely isn't that, right? So don't do that, right? Because you'll end up like falling out with me if you say that, right? So back to like being polite again. Yeah, so like I want the channel to grow. The best way to do that is with the algorithm. Obviously, the platform here is huge, and the amount of audience. Where is my audience, right? Where is the Tradespotting audience? Those people have obligated to do this for, not my audience. Isn't like, oh, I'm an egocentric but twat, right? That isn't me. And how do I get there? Well, it's subscribers and watch time. So I want the people who are tuning in to be happy, rather than waste my time complaining or preaching to the choir about how things are great here. I want to make things really good for the people who are here. Core viewers aren't panicking. I know they aren't panicking. They're also like, I don't know. I mean, like, what's the viewership numbers like? Sometimes, I can't get this. What's this screen say? It says it in the top left there. 248, right? Well, like I told the Dalai Lama story, because we got over 1,000 concurrent viewers. Now things dropped off significantly, because people get accustomed to it, used to it, bored, move on, whatever. That's totally normal. You'd get big waves and then like a level out afterwards, up a tiny bit. And because I came from nowhere, it's totally understandable that there would be like a big retrace, right? On concurrent viewers. I'm your biggest fanny. Yeah, if you're a fan, you are definitely a fanny. So like, there's all these little things to make the chat box more interesting and increase engagement metrics, and then, but the most important of all is like how your subscribers interact with your content in terms of watch time. That's the main one, because then YouTube's like, well, if his subscribers like it, then it's a good idea to recommend it to other people. Now, this isn't me trying to game the system. This is me explaining like the consequences of how I run the channel, right? So yesterday when I was like, well, I could do these like this around the markets thing, I looked at stuff, right? I did it with the intention of trying to help people rather than try to boost the subscriber numbers. So when I come out and I'm like, well, everything looks a little bit gash. It looks like your media there could go down like 50%. And it looks like, AMC is going to have another test down lower, and we'll see what happens, but it doesn't look super positive at these levels. You're just weeding out the paper hands, mate. Don't stop giving out the substance behind the material. Andy L, that's nice, thanks very much. Cheers, buddy. And it's super easier, so much easier for me to see your message. You don't have to donate for me to see your message. It really isn't like that either, right? That's not what the super chats are for. So that like, I can see that one, right? No, that isn't it, right? I'm way beyond that sort of bollocks, right? I just don't see them. So if you write my whole name with an @ it gets an orange background, and my eyes are drawn to it, right? I nearly can't not miss it. You don't need to donate for me to see what you're saying. It's just sometimes I'm doing something like the TA and the microphone breaks, and at that point I really am looking over there. Which is also like a paradox of doing this. Like if you do watch along and see like when super chats come in and how things work, and that when I'm doing the TA and focusing on the information, the chat box drops off like that, because people are interested and they're watching. So that's like one of the oxymorons of YouTube, is that like sometimes when I'm putting out the things that people want, like YouTube's like, nah, people ain't digging this, and they're like, people dig down on YouTube, people dig it big time. So there we go. So I do rely 100% rely on the audience, right? That's what this all is. So obvious. That's what this is. Te quiero también, Adrian. Muchísimas gracias. I appreciate that honesty. I do like to help when I can. Yo, thanks. Well, so like, and like when I mean like depend on the audience, like I don't know if there's a channel out there that has grown so much exclusively because of its audience. Like, and when I say its audience, the people I'm obligated to, right, the creator community, it's not mine. It's like lent to me from the cause we're all sharing. And that so many of the clips people have made, like Failure to Deliver, sticking me in that advert thing you made, that was like easily television level advert. The clips that grilled cheese and scotch made, they're like, I watch them all the time. Like if I was going to get in an argument with somebody, I'd have them on beforehand. No, they're amazing. Like those hype videos are the sort of thing that like must have led to tens of thousands of shares being bought. Like no joke. That like you could count a big chunk of them off people who sent me messages about it. Tradespotting, are you getting the orange box? Yeah, I'm getting the orange box. DS Abby. The price and ticker on the top of the screen isn't centered. Tradespotting. Well, I see that because we're on AMC. It's like it changes for each one because of the trading views stuff. I suppose I could get the ticker to be centered, but the price would always start changing. Oh, it's the wrong GME one. I'm looking at that.
I'm just curious. I saw you shuffling the checks with your right hand.
Previously,
Can you do that with both hands?
No. Be a man, don't be a fucking pimp.
So yeah, you see how it works with GME there, but the other ones it doesn't right now. There is like something probably I can do like with a separate screen and a separate Bing Bong shirt came, couldn't look better. Yes, Chris K, amazing mate. Yes. And a $5. Thank you so much, it's really appreciated. Cheers, buddy. Price on the ticker rate, thanks, got that one. Cheers, pal. Griffin, Tradespotting, 15.3k subscribers. I remember less than 500. Look at the Flash setup now. The Flash setup. What is Flash setup? Oh, the stuff around me. That's what you mean, in the environment. Yeah. Oh, you're damn right. Yeah, I put every penny back into the channel. Like, it's all about growing it. It's not about me. Hey, it isn't like at all. It's about the content. And so like making that as accessible as possible, like to as many people as possible. So like if you remember the first live stream I did, which ironically are the only ones that get less viewers than these ones, and today might actually end up being less than that very first stream. It was all done on the phone, which even up until like a week ago or something I was using. It's from like 2017 or 2018. It's this phone that cost like $60 when I first got it, and that was everything: the mic, the camera, everything. And then I got the worst broken mic ever. Right. Anyway, yes, things have come a long way. Thanks so much, and it's entirely due to the audience, and obviously the treasure hunt that I've put out there is like an example of how like paying it forward, like I have faith in myself to keep going, and that it, like I can provide value, but like at the same time like saying like I don't mind taking the high road if it takes a little bit longer, and because I've done that, other people have respected it and they've like put effort in my behalf, which is like really appreciated. So like that's what the channel depends on. It depends on you guys so much. All of it does. Right now I went on about that. I didn't mean to talk about that so much, and I imagine like you say, the hardcore viewers are the ones that are sticking with it. Thanks very much, it's really appreciated. So like watch time counts, watch time counts so much, and the percentage of your watch time and that. So like when I do like a long stream all day, that's obviously going to hit the algorithm, and when I put out clips that are like not the core audience main piece of bread and butter, they're obviously going to like hurt the chances of the algorithm. So I don't know what's up there. Sorry. Diddle-a-din. Alright, that's what that is. No worries. Oops, a daisy. Yeah, so thanks so much to everybody like that, and that's it, what it is. So people say like, oh, the comments matter, and they do matter, and like that, but it's all about watch time, like that's what it is, like watch time. And I imagine it's the first hour of a publication that watch time like really hits the algorithm and that. So like I can help that way by always publishing clips at exactly the same time, so people who are looking for this clip will always know, like, here goes, market's closed, there'll be like a TA market close clip out in the next 15 minutes, next half an hour. So that's what I'll do at market close. I'll have the TA market close clip out every day, Monday to Friday, every day. It'll be 15 minutes or less. I'll try and keep it to 15 minutes. I know yesterday's was like 26. Try and keep it to 15 minutes or less, right? If I can, like 8 or less, right? If I can. And I'll stick to always doing it. It will always be GME, right? I'll always do it. It doesn't matter like how massive the channel gets or what. right, it doesn't matter what changes, good or bad, I'll always do the GME, and I'll always do that market close, and I'll always do it 15 minutes, right? That's what I'll aim for. And I'll always have it out by half an hour after market close, right? That's a promise I'll make now, always. No matter what else happens, I'll always do that. Unless something definitely, like, obviously, there's things I can't prevent happens, but that's my plan. Yeah, but it would help if you always went live at the same time, case guy, yes. And I should always go live. And I know it feels like I'm disrespecting the audience by not doing that, you know, but in my mind, I'm like doing this thing that, like, I've always been experimenting, you know, on how to grow the channel. There was never really, until recently, like a commitment to be live, never mind every day, never mind all day, every day. That was all like hoping to grow the channel so that it would boost the objectives to achieve the goals, which are really based around you guys and helping yourselves. That was why I was doing that, and thinking like there's the compromises I have to make in life to do these things. So I was like thinking, like, on some levels it's like, you know, I'm also not a performing monkey, so like, and I've got a huge massive attitude problem to authority. So if that, even if it's my own, right, you want them to be 20 minutes, YouTube counts them massively. Yeah, 20 to be a whole 20 minutes, right? Well, okay, I'll try and make them to around 20 minutes, but I know that, like, people are busy, so even within that, but then, like, see, when you make it 20 minutes, right, people only watch 7 minutes of things that I put out. Even if that's like because they've figured out these are the good 7 minutes, and so that reduces the percentage watch time to be like below the, like, where YouTube's like, cool, picking it up and chucking it out sort of algorithm thing. Wow, I'm really fucking pissing people off for this chat. I can imagine it's like the worst thing that I could be doing. I like the chaos of the stream starting at different times every day. Yes, thanks, Luke. Alright, but I'm going to try and like fit my round head into this square hole. Tradespotting, donations after MOS will be insane, like 2 years salary in a day, insane. Well, yeah, that would be fantastic. But after MOS, like, my like, this is how I look at things, right? Like, while I can see like 1,450, 2,450, I also like worry about you guys when prices are at 182.19 as they are right now. Like, I worry about you because some of you have got too much in it, you know, and like, when I say too much, I mean, like, it makes your life uncomfortable at times. Despite like the fact that it doesn't materially change what's going to happen to you, and that though isn't always obvious to you, and sometimes your psychology is like affected because, you know, everybody goes through ups and downs every day. It's totally normal, right? It's like anyone who tells you it isn't, this is not fucking human. So. And I know some people see this and they're like on a good day and they're happy and they've got money and they're buying more of it, and I know other people are just happy anyway, and other people are just generally not always that happy, maybe a bit lonely, maybe pissed off, and shit like this happens. Nikita Abramenkov. What a cool name. Hey man, could you explain the idea behind your TA? Yesterday you said TA shows that price will barely touch 191 and bounce. Now you're saying that we are the right track, however the price is in low 180s. Hi Jimmy, can you look at CLF again for me please? Paul B. Sure, I'll look at CLF again. And Nikita Abramenkov is asking about TA.
I'm just curious.
Good question. Could you explain the idea behind your TA?
Right,
okay.
can you do that with
The
both
idea
hands?
behind my TA.
No.
Essentially, it's working out the path of least resistance. And I have a heavy focus on support and resistance. When I say support and resistance, I really try to get across, but I don't think everybody's ready to hear it yet, that the only thing that matters is horizontals, not diagonals. And in order to calculate that path of least resistance, I'll go through various time frames looking for the strength of a trend, the patterns that might identify the psychology behind recent price action, and the expected range of any move either side of the current trend based on the importance of that current horizontal level that we're at. with regards to price action over the last period of time. So it's all in a continuum. So that's what I think about things like. And then there's like, in terms of giving people dollar values on those paths forward, either side of the price, I look to go through the time frames and talk about how, well, if you're on one time frame, you might look at TA, give it 3 opens and closes on that candlestick of that time frame you're on. So like 3 weeks, 3 is 1 week time frame, 3 days within that, 15 minutes, 45 minutes, right? 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, so those are your like, and then within that you might be thinking, well, there'll be wicks and there'll be body closes, and what are the significance of each at the time and in future, right? So that's like part of the TA, along with that's like the part that's like for YouTube, and then in the back end you'd look at the signatures of various indicators, and you talk about what they represent with regards to momentum, volume, trend, volatility. You'd look at what they mean together. You'd look at divergences between each other or over time frames, and then you would look at the general picture with regards to trend, which I would define as accumulation and distribution, and then the open interest, and then the volume to see if anything had changed. And like that's like where I'd come from when I then go with regards to making predictions. You know, in predictions I'm talking like, again, like lighting that path of least resistance, where might it be? And one of the ways I'd do that is with Fibonacci's, which is like accessible and easy to communicate. But within that, what I might do, and what I'd often talk about with Rocky, and what we spent like yesterday doing, was like drawing harmonics between different moves to work out what potentially is going down on a slightly longer time frame, so that we can see things coming down the track, you know, because there might be that might be relevant. And then also, like, there's other information that's technicals, like I say with open interest, and it's particularly relevant to my type of analysis. Now, there are others of doing analysis on open interest, but the way I look at it is with regards to open interest, strike price, and how that relates again back to support and resistance in terms of horizontal levels. So that's my technical analysis. That's the first part of that question. What was the next part of it? Yesterday said TA shows that price will barely touch 191. Was the price not less than 191 yesterday? I'm sure it was down. Whoops. I can't remember. Right, let's get it up. That auto button is like a bit of a joke sometimes. 182.02 now. Where were we yesterday? 18771 was yesterday's wicks lows. And yeah, so a lot of people asked me, like, Jamie, you said that this was a buy or whatever, and like, perhaps if you look back, you'll see that the context of that question, you know, if it's somebody else asking it and it's me answering it, you might hear something different from what they hear, or you might be looking for your own answers, and often that's like where some confusion comes in. But if you go back and you look at it, often that person is asking, where is the best buy today? Because right now they have money. And other times people ask me something such as, like, I got a message on Reddit, maybe, what day was it? Well, this is when this happened, so it would have been this day. A message on Reddit, you know, from, yeah, here it was. And somebody was saying, like, I've already got X shares, and I'm looking to more than double my position. But I don't really care if I don't get the shares, right, at the minute, right? I don't care if I don't get the minute. Where's the best entry for me to put them in at? And I said, well, it depends, you know, how much you don't care, right? If you don't care at all, like you really don't care at all, then you put the order in at around 177 point something. If you care a little bit, you'll have orders in around here and here and here. And I don't know. I haven't got, because I've got so many messages on Reddit. I haven't actually seen what happened with that chap, right? But he's got loads and loads of money, and he seems like a nice guy. And I didn't really have time to respond to the fullness of the friendly side of his message. But I noticed that he had a huge account, and he was asking a serious enough question. So I gave him those things and said, "Sorry, I don't have time to write you a friendlier message." Because I was going through messages, and going through them, and most of them I was just talking to people about their psychology, right, and try to be happy and not worry about stuff and not to invest too much. That's mostly, but sometimes there's specific questions. Now, that was all done as non-financial advice, right? With the question being posed to me, like, what would you do if? And my answers being, well, bearing in mind this is exclusively me saying and not financial advice, and that's how that whole conversation went down. We'll see what happened when I get through the next cycle of doing that messages. But so like there's like there's that side of things, right? There's also like the overall TA you'll see me do, like when I talk about weekly stuff, or when you see me on the weekly time frame, and I opened up talking about messages like places below that like this line and this line 18679, like this line in particular. I was spending quite a while talking about it recently. And so what do I see with this right now? Again, right, there's that to bear in mind, that you ask a question at a specific time, and that the point you reference is inherently a specific time, right? And what I'm trying to do is deliver TA as a continuum, right? It's one of the reasons why you can't just watch my video on a Tuesday and think, sound, I saw his video on Tuesday, I can see that the target's like above our X, Y, and Z, and that, perhaps he said something about below, I'm not really sure, and then tune in like the following Friday week and be like, yo bro, prices aren't where you said they'd be. And it's like, well, at some point they will be, and maybe they were when you were on the couch, that's like, that's part of it. And now you ask me right now, why are the prices where they are? And like, if you were doing the TA along with me, for example, right, you were sat there and we were doing it and I was showing you what I was thinking, it might be easier for you to get how little I give a shit about which direction the prices go in the short term, right? You might come across much more palpably than it does here, right? The camera's 2.5 meters away, and I don't get any tactic feedback, right? There's nothing tactile coming back, right? The best I can do is interact deeply with a message and think that somehow compensates for the fact that it's a one-way conversation, feels like, Nikita. So and like, I don't hate that parasocial aspect of YouTube. I hate that fans thing and that. So like, try to make it like genuine connection, eh? So like, so that's that, right? Yesterday you said TA shows that price will barely touch 191, right? Well, and then there's also like, so like there's like, I have actually given like talked about where prices could go, right? I've said, like, I'm not sure what you're getting that from, right? Maybe I said that at one point, that I thought and felt, and that if something, then something, right? That sounds like me. But I also know for a fact that I would have also looked at and said things like, you could take another touch of divergence, right? People quote me on it in chat box all the time, that I say it all the time, and I would have said it if there was only one. I would have said you could maybe see another one, and I like to see three, and then I like to see all three of those touches confirmed on both the RSI and the MACD. And I've said that loads, right? So that's my TA, which has to be included. If it's an assessment of my TA, that has to be included. And I probably directly referenced the chances of coming down here. I actually can't remember, but probably did. And I probably also said, like, there's other areas that it can go to that again are still bullish in different ways. But I can understand why a lot of people would be saying, like, oh, but I'm worried about price action, and then look to me because I've come up with accurate calls, and then say, but his thing, maybe they aren't accurate, and worry in that, and that's perfectly understandable. That like, people were panicky around here because it looked like we'd gone to the full 50% aspect of this retrace, right? This is now spending a lot of time maybe not providing value to everybody else, but or the greater audience. Right now, that's only there, so we'll take it to the top here and right. So here's the 50%. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Where was it? People got worried. There. Yeah. Oh, so we got here, right? People were like, oh, the cup and handle, it's only supposed to be 30 to 50%. Is this on log? Why is my charts doing that? Oh, I swear to God, by the way. I have to spend time figuring that out. That's like a real head wreck. I was hoping it was just right. Anyway, right. That's the side. Anyway, so right, it came up here and we came back down again. What is this fib actually gone all now? Where is it? That's still in the right place. That's okay. This is not though. That's not either. Ah! Anyway, right, the point is still the same. The 50%, where is it in there? Let's try this over so I can see it. Yeah. In here, right, so like we got down, touched it twice, and we got to here, and it went, and then here, right, somewhere around here, somebody published some TA on Superstonk and that, and said, like, thanks, this is a lot heavily based on what Tradespotting was saying, etc., and here's your cup with handle and whatnot. And loads of people in the chat were giving him a hard time, were like, bro, like 50% is like the maximum you'll get in a cup and handle, and this seems to have tucked beyond it, and that's what's broken, it's not working or whatever. And it's like, well, not really, eh? That's like Investopedia level, like, oh, I read Investopedia once and it said this, and now I think I can argue with somebody type of people. So I pointed out actually and go 61.8, but that's quite a comment on this sort of thing, right? And it went, when it went 61.8, so then loads of people turn up and they're like, oh, Tradespotting knows the chat, but those were panic merchants who had just arrived. And then when it then goes beyond 61.8, they're like, panic merchants are like, now Tradespotting's wrong too, oh my god, abandoned ship. When it's cup with handle, eh? You know, it's not even called a cup and handle, which is what it's. Why is it not called a cup and handle? Why is it a cup with handle? It's annoying, right? That's annoying. So, hey, right, the world isn't always exactly as you want it, especially with the name of things. Also, pattern trading is okay, right? If you're Bilkowski, right, cool. If you're instead, or if you're more into your harmonics, or if you're into like candlestick patterns, right, there's loads of different patterns that can be used to identify psychology, and some of them are about self-fulfilling prophecies, like loads of people see it, believe it, it happens, and others fail in that way, right? If it doesn't happen, people are looking at it and they go the other way. That's another way some patterns are traded. But that's not what patterns were for. Like, they were drawn, like, they're all created retrospectively and then tested for validity. And each one of them's different, and what they actually represent is the psychology of the market participants at the time. And those anchors with which you use to derive your determinations are horizontal support and resistance, right? Not even in a pattern can it really truly be the diagonal, unless you've seen significant retests on significant time frames. I've tested this loads, and it's like always the horizontals. So so I would be quite clear about saying there could easily be tests of horizontals again, right? Now they might come with like extensions on the wicks, but body closes in around there or above there, and that would then lead us to divergences, or to spot trend changes across time frames and do like multiple analysis across like different theses across different time frames and see where there might be some intersections, and then do study and confluence of all of these other on-chart indicators and come up with like ideas. And as such, I can't imagine that in yesterday's video I didn't mention there might be a possibility of a slightly lower touch on this stuff. Now you're saying that we're right track, however the price is the low 80s. Now I'm saying that I think things are on the right track, right? Well, I've been thinking things are on the right track and around these levels, right? And around here I think they're on the right track, and like in and around here I thought we were on the right track, and like here I thought we were on the right track, and in here I was like, this is us on the right track, you know. Now that doesn't, not to undermine myself, right? They were all historic lows, and at the time, you know, this question you're asking, that's like the friendliest version of them, right? At these times, I was getting ridiculous things. People were saying ridiculous things, right? I made videos laughing at them afterwards. People were saying crazy ass stuff, right? And here again, crazy ass stuff. And like in here, you're, right? See, this morning, right? Katie, I think it was talking to me. Was it or somebody? Now, sorry if it was somebody else, was saying how Market Watch have got these chart targets, right? And that's cool, right? That's totally cool. But back here, Seeking Alpha had their short targets, right? And we had a laugh at them, right? And they came in with them here, right? I think it was here. And Market Watch are coming in with them like here, right? This is how to go short. And yeah, like that's just the way it goes. People are ridiculous. However, the price is in the low 80s. Yes, and this comes back to the essence of Tradespotting, right? I like deep effing value retraces, right? That's what I love to trade, right? You watch this, you keep watching this, you look back. The truth is that's what I do, right? It's not the rants, it's not the TA, it's the deep retrace trades. That's what I'm all about. And you look at this and you look back, and I'll still be here in a year or two, God willing. And it'll always be the same deal, and it'll be even clearer, and it'll actually be a big part of how everybody knows that what Tradespotting goes for. Like these huge retraces. Really is all about buying at support. You know, some people don't even understand the concept of what is a higher high or a lower low, and they can't visualize things, and they can't work to what we might think to be like basic building blocks, are to them obscured and hidden behind their prisms and their ways of understanding, and that's true for all of us. And so it leads to different types of psychology, and these psychologies are well known by your enemies, and they deliberately cause these feelings in you. And I'm here from the other side of the fence to tell you that their objective is to control your thoughts to the degree that they can then control your actions. And that all you need to do to get on the other side of it is understand the messages that people are putting across and know that things go up and things go down. And if you want somebody else to give you what they own, then they'll do it when the prices are cheap because they panic. And that's where you'd like to have it, right? At the place where everybody's panicking. That's where you'd like to be buying this thing. Now, I'm not talking about catching the knife. I'm talking about trading the trend. I trade for a living. It pays my bills. Some of those bills are big. Some of those bills are to support other people. It's a serious endeavor. Stupid people tell you technical analysis doesn't work. That's fine, right? They can tell you that all they want. They can tell you that it doesn't work on certain assets at certain times. They can say all ass about face sort of stuff. But it works well enough to fund my life, and I like it, right? I think it's good, and I'd rather do that than work for anybody else, right? Like, as if I'd fucking work for somebody ever again, right? You know, and you don't, you know, I'm not saying give up your day job and start doing this, because it'll take you a while, and before you get there, you'll have lost everything you put into it, perhaps 2, 3, 4 times. This is what everybody seems to do, and I was no exception at the very start, right? It happens to the best of us, and some of those things, that memories or lessons that hopefully like will guide you forever and ever. But like this, you know, you can empower yourself and take control of your life, and I think this is a really important message to put across. And I think that in particular, although like a big part of my audience, right, although it grows into periods, right, it's the consistent viewers are all around 45 years old, right, and people put them in the age in chat if there's still anyone watching. And you'll see, like, everyone like who actually watches is in like the 35 to 45 year age bracket. That's like the vast majority of people. The voices. But the truth is that what I believe about, not about trading specifically, but that's obviously part of it, about technical analysis. What I believe, right, and would love for the world to like hear, is that plenty of young men think that they can't affect the world. You know, they think that like there's too many people, or there's not enough opportunities, or they can't like get any control. You know, like freedom's one thing, but like control, that aspect of freedom, like having control, also in a way that's fair and doesn't like damage some other ecosystem, some other community, or some other person, or some other business. You know, how do you do that, right? And I think you can get like a significant amount of empowerment in your own life via technical analysis. Like, I think it's a huge thing that people can do for their whole life, right? In particular, I think it's a message that young men hear and like gravitate to. But I also think that it's incredibly dangerous, right? Trading is incredibly dangerous. Gambling is probably the biggest cause of loss of life in young men, right? Probably is. And I've made a video on this, which probably got me shadow banned because I said like the wrong type of words too often. But I was trying to put a positive message, right? Technical analysis is about managing risk, because the way maths works, you can make more money by trading safely than you can by taking the best gambles in the world, right? You can make more money, right? And I've got a video that proves it with really simple maths right? So there's like two sides to this, right? It's perhaps one of the things that a message that young men really could benefit from hearing, but also it's a double-edged sword, and it's very, very dangerous. And the only way of managing your risk when trading properly is with risk management, because it's the only way, right? Because that's what it is. It's just the name given to doing that, right? That's all it is. Technical analysis isn't some magic sauce that like it is, right? It's not some magic name that they like, oh, cool, well, this technical analysis is what this is, and now let's expand on the topic. It's this people have been doing this since the ancient Japanese rice traders, right? They've been doing this since the beginning of time, since the first transactions and the first records of trades. There were visual representations of stuff, right? And that expanded into charts, and then it's used to manage risk. It's used all the time, all over the world, in all types of environments, especially in engineering. And it's about maximizing efficiency and having the best possible plan to take advantage of all circumstances that might happen. And you use it to wrap your risk in profitable strategies. And those strategies are things that I try to put across. Now, it's very difficult to do that when your main context of what you're talking about here is an asset that everybody buys and holds. So with putting my technical analysis into the context of this asset we're on at the minute, it's about helping people get the lowest possible entries. It's about people who are going to buy it anyway, and they're going to buy it whenever they frickin' want. Get the best possible price within those 24 hours, if not within those 4 hours if they're desperate to get it right now, or in a day, week, couple of up to 3 weeks, right, if I'm looking at the weekly time frame. And those will be based on horizontal levels. And it's all with the understanding that my technical analysis says this is going up, right? Now, that's sure, it could go down and bits in between. Which is why it's good to manage your risk with position management as well as risk management, and to tune your psychology to help with like extended periods of people trying to mess with you. So I also try to put that across. And yes, so that's like the long answer to that question is like, it's a buy and it's a hold, and it's got loads of bullish things about it. And sure, there might be instances where people try to push it down, especially when they could be in the chances of losing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars at the end of this week if prices expire above a certain level. So during this week, they'll want to keep open interest away from those areas so that everybody's disincentivized to take the price higher. Against this counterbalance of the huge amount of puts that they've got coming up for expiration, which wraps shitloads of their FTDs are hidden in. And so, like, you know, this is very predictable that during the week it would be like this. And so when I say I would love it for this week, even if prices are low during the intraday times, that at the close of business on days this week, if we were closer to 200 than not, like, and the not being the 177 and the 164s, then that'll scare the absolute living shite out of them. And it could well be that on Friday it starts closing up above 200. And when I say closing up above 200, it's like a rocket ship with it's coming from the heart of a volcano at this stage, right? You're like, man, if this goes up, right? Come back and talk to me, right? Come back and talk to me about whether or not my TA is helping people, right? Because that's the context of what I'm trying to do here. And the truth is, if this was falling off a fucking cliff, if this was about to cost people money, if it was going to put their psychology and their lives in danger, I would tell them the truth about it. And I'm telling you the truth now. That doesn't look like that's going to happen, right? Despite what Market Watch will tell you. And if Market Watch got things right, I don't know, right? Could I be bothered checking it out? But I know that the average success of trading newsletters over 10 years is something in the region of like only 52% of them or something. The main 7 that were even profitable, and of them, like the highest earners got something like 8% over a 10-year period, you know. And that, like, they're crap. They're you know, they're totally crap, right? And the analysts that work for them are crap. They're crap, man. Or else they're just putting stuff out that, you know, this not, it's all a business, eh? Maybe they're good analysts, and sorry, I don't mean to don't take this personally, right? But a lot of them are incentivized to put out content and price targets that match the hedge funds that run and control them. Motley Fool, anybody, you know what I mean? So that's that. So yes, I mean, I don't know if that specifically answered your question, Nikita, but you put in a whole €10 in that, and it was a good question. So I hope it provided value for somebody, and that gave context to what I'm trying to do here. And that, and along with the introduction, like, you can see why sometimes it's not like necessarily catnip to people, right? That people just want to hear price targets. They only want to hear the ones on the top. They want to hear that everything's a buy all the time. They want to hear that things are going to go to like 1000x. They don't want to hear about Gme. They want to hear about some total crap shit coin to trade on the altcoin markets. Like, that's what people want, eh? You know. And like, I could put that out. I put that content out and have 100,000 subscribers, right? I could do that, right? But some of them, I'd be making their lives worse. And like, net balance would be negative if I was doing that. So, right, it's all under that context. Hey Jamie, can you look at CLF again for me? Sure, buddy. I'll look at that in a second. JM, for me, this process is draining, says JM. So that's a whole $10. It's draining you of money, giving you $10 to me, JM. Yeah, it is. It's a bit draining. It is like that, you know. But so is lots of things, eh? Like, you know. So are lots of things, like, lots of things are draining. When I first moved to Ireland, I was like eager to fit in with the different types of people that did different stuff, eh? So I started doing all the different sports, like karate, Gaelic football, right? That's football where you can pick it up with your hands. You can also kick someone's head in, and that doesn't really make much difference, and it's part of the game. And cross country running and loads of shit. And did so much shit that, like, the first week I was doing one of them, I can't remember which, and I was throwing up on the ground running around the pitch. And that, like, this fucking better be worth it. I know what you mean. Doesn't change your psychology though, right? It's like, that's what resilience is all about. It's like recognizing that you're finding things hard. So what? Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, stuff's hard, so what? And that sounds entirely too reasonable. Yes, it did, didn't it? All when you put it all together. Tradespotting, I'm in that post-electoral, in that boat. Electoral repairs will be XXX Crosscrest, and I have XXX Gme. I have developed diamond hands. Yep, it's crazy, isn't it? The amount of people that are like yourself, Crosscrest. And like, the testament to the community, like, people, like, you know, it is draining, but then we all show up, right? How many people are watching at the minute? I don't know. I forgot that thing on. 419. Wow. And yeah. Thanks. Tea is usually spot on, and I enjoy it, but still, I will wait for the most. Respect you. Do not throw dates around, but can you comment on FTD's margin calls and failure to enforce rules? Yes, God. Well, like, the rules, like, are enforced to a degree, you know, and then there's new rules coming out, as you can see, because those previous ones haven't been adequate right now. Always seems this way with rules right now. If you've broke,
I don't know that one.
I sound. So it's always been this way with rules, right? You might not know. I don't know. Do you follow rules yourself all that well? Like I never did, and quickly learned that the rules are interpreted differently by different people, and also that people themselves don't want to be seen to be doing something, like overstepping. They would rather that the rule itself allowed for them to enforce 80% of it or whatever, and then their personality and mark doesn't touch this moment in history because everybody's fallible and they don't know how they'll be judged, and like politicians or people that get into that business themselves are without exception narcissistic losers, and so despite whatever heroic role you might imagine them to be playing for you, or they even commit themselves to temporarily, they are still narcissistic losers, and they don't want anything bad to be like attached to them, and so they're afraid, they're petrified that, and you rarely get like righteous warriors that are doing these things, and if you do, they themselves are narcissistic and are infinitely compromised before they've begun, because they don't realize that either the narrow scope of their own ideals, the select few will benefit from their efforts, or that, you know, they've been set up. So like it's without exception, nobody wants to help you. Nobody wants to help you in this trade. And with regards to rules being enforced, those rules will be enforced by the people who pay the enforcers, and those people, we speculate, we say, well, look at the tax rebate, right? The government gets if it squeezes. It's like, cool, yeah, that's one. There's two birds in that bush over there, but they've got one in their hand right now they'd have to let go of to get them. And that bird is everyone who's paying their lobbying fees, who's like, you know, those hedge funds that do or do not allegedly, perhaps, who knows, provide them with like certain types of convertible notes or call options that like signify to them like a little bit of a handshake, and or is it that revolving door between regulatory agencies and the top hedge funds so that they can find out all these loopholes and get through things? Like, are you ever going to be able to rely on rules being used to help you? Or are rules actually just used to keep you in your place? Because that's the only efficient way of managing society, right? Now, you're going to have your own personal agency to get the most out of life, and like, you're not going to be able to rely on other people, including their rules, because they'll always be their rules. Sorry, ambulance. But you can also have your own rules. You can recognize that in life there is good and there is bad. There are ethics and morals. There is a difference, and you can make personal decisions to in the age where morality is dead. You can say, well, I've got my own morality, and I don't rely on society. I contribute to it by doing the right thing, which, with regards to GME, you're not going to see it on the news, you know, but your mates will tell you it's to buy and hold. Right? There are other things you can trade to make money in the meantime, but if you're like me, you've got one perspective because you've got a singular focus, and you're going to make a difference. You know, you can't make a difference everywhere all the time, but right here, right now, you can make a difference. And when prices get down to less than 190, right, it makes it so much easier to make a difference. And a lot of people will say, right, I'll buy some, but that doesn't mean you put all your money in all the time at every level. You know, you've got to keep ammo dry, right? This is how you live. You live, right, by never overextending yourself in any one thing too much, no matter how crude it might seem. So why am I even saying that? Am I answering a question? I don't know, but I'm trying to interact. FTD's margin calls failure to enforce rules. So that's the big part about the rules. FTDs, right? They'll slide them here and there and where not, but they've got a priority and needing to be filled. And people, there's ETFs that are on like
I need a volunteer.
ETFs that are on.
Come at me with an imaginary knife.
Boom, boom. Thanks so much.
That's how it's
wanna
done.
go. Yes, please.
Who's next?
Yeah, right, so there's all these different lists, right, and XRT needs to be taken off. It's XRT, that ETF needs to be taken off, and so it's very common that prices will be pushed down here so they can accumulate in the background and start doing that sort of thing. They'll be moving their FTDs around, they'll be taking their shorts and putting them back into ETFs and flipping old ones out. They'll be dealing with the FTDs as a matter of priority. But it's all about the forced buy-in from other members of the DTC, which will happen as and when they're covered, and they themselves may be, and I say covered, I mean covered from like fallout rather than them holding the short position. I mean, they're probably long, and we know they are. You can see it. So I don't know if I'm answering the question properly there, but something. And where's my chat? Is it updated? Thanks, Jamie. Das. Cool. Awesome, mate. Did I do something? I don't know what I did. I'm going to go back through the chat the other way. It hadn't updated. Super sorry. What are your thoughts on SPY 437 pushing 438 unsustainable? I'll have a look at that too. SPY and CLF. Tradespotting. I worked 35 years as a programmer. As a slave in the finance industry, I need GME to molest and never get back sooner rather than later. Yes, sooner rather than later. It would be nice it doesn't last, but at the same time, it's like it's a forever thing we're doing here. 35 years as a programmer, that's tough. And that probably exploited a lot along the way. People do that sort of thing. And a slave in the finance industry, yeah. So you're obviously working to old systems, like, and there's no innovation there. I've met people doing it, and they think they are, and they think they're entrepreneurial, and then they come out of it, and they're like, "Whoa, I was just robbed of a life." So I hope for you too, mate, and we've all got these sort of things. Some people are out working on the roads, other people are out on the fishing boats. There's like people doing this sort of that are in GME, like that work in all sorts of places doing the toughest jobs you can imagine, like, and they need it to happen too, and it's like that's one of the reasons why we all hold. Rocky Outcrop, I appreciate your reply. Awesome, Rocky's here helping people too. How good. Also, I'm totally good with dates and LeMayo. I love hyping dates and then pushing the goalposts. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a little bit fucking with everybody else too. Like, if you are steel to it all, you're like, yes, this date, and then the date comes and you're like, who cares yourself? But I'm obligated not to do that, so I never really push a date. I know there are dates, and I know what dates come up, and I know that narratives come with dates, and then like you'll see last week and this week, I'm like, oh sugar, how am I going to make sure that people take this the right way? Record so I know you never heard of it. Cool, awesome, thanks. Tradespotting, is Gaelic football like rugby? Sort of. It's sort of like rugby, only Gaelic football is absolutely nothing like rugby. It's like that rules thing I was talking about earlier, Rugby, there's like real rules and all, like blah blah blah, and there are real rules in Gaelic football too, but it's very much like down to the individual. From the chatter on the webs alone, seems like the demand for GME news has gone down big time, but we're still here. Yeah, so the news is a bit of a waste of time nowadays. Great points, Arnie. Awesome, Arnie, you legend. Thanks for helping people. Love this stuff. Mine Boom, how you doing, buddy? Does anyone know if we're expecting GME announcement tomorrow, or is it just the NFT launch day, or what is happening with all that? Try it. I don't know. I don't know if we're expecting that. I know a lot of people are expecting that. I don't know if I'm expecting that. I'm just sort of looking at the on-chartles and whatnot, but maybe, Bang and Boom, people are saying things about the potential for some sort of announcement. But just that GME are doing things will be the news, and that's good that they're making moves. And I don't know how everyone's going to try and spin it. I can imagine Kramer and Co. won't be all excited about it. Jim Kramer gets unnamed gift cards every time he spews his shit. Unnamed gift cards? What are these gift cards? Sounds like a scam. Also, Hersey has made it clear he won't announcements about his plans. Yo, Tradespotting, you're such a good man. Am I? I'm just here, wimless like you guys. Thanks, buddy. That's nice. Please Academy, Frostcrest. I'm skipping chat to go back up because I can see the top there. There's a huge donation
Can you do that with both hands?
for $69.69.
Be a man.
Thank
Don't
you.
be a
Thank you so
fucking
much for a detailed answer, man. I think I got your point. I know you believe Gme looks like any ideas about the bottom before that, though. Bottoms. Well, I can see that there's like areas along the way that leave bottoms. I suspect this is similar to like other bottoms. It may come in and need to do some sort of abandoned baby candlestick and scare people in and around here. You know, when it gives somebody a huge bargain and the reaction to that's really positive, it's like that's what I talk about rocket ships out of the heart of volcanoes. And I just fucking want to see that. I really want to see I now really want to see a rocket ship taken it off from inside a volcano. Can't always get what you want though, right? Did I see a button before that? Well, I mean, there's loads of it. It's like, well, yeah. So it's like, well, I talk about the trend. Where's the trend coming in to test things at? There's a daily time frame. Like a trend on a daily time frame is usually quite a good marker of things. See the moving averages. I've got the 9 on here, but let's change it to 20. It's just appropriate to look for things. Daily time frame, you know, so like these are the sort of things you look for trend tests, you know. In daily time frame, you've got 2 of them coming in around here, and it's responded very well every time it's got anywhere near them. In past, you know, this you're talking like August, right? This is before even. I think this is before. Did I get some there or not? I don't think so. I think this is before I even got any, right? Before even, and I was like, oh, before I even got any, like what I mean is before I fucking heard about it, right? So like for me, relative to what I know, that's ages ago, right? It's like the beginning of time, and cosmologically speaking, whoa, so far away, right? So and since then, which is since forever in like Plato's cave here, it's it's always been above these levels, right? So like this would be a buy. That's what that technical analysis, as simple as it is, that's what it would tell you. I also say that generally speaking, for most assets, looking at the daily time frame, you say that the 200 period moving average, you're testing that like the trend is up, right? Trend's still up, so fantastic. In terms of bottoms, that will change over time as the trend itself evolves. At the minute, we're still trying to fight off these lower high ideas. Here, this one I suspect is like good enough to be called a higher high, but still lower than here. And along the way, you're putting in higher lows, right? And the last one's here, right? Before that, it was here. But all of this is much of a muchness because it's not all that different from back here. So if you do get round to those levels, you know, it's just like, it's just a buy, you know. Do I think it's the low though? I suspect this will have a bounce here, right? I suspect it will. It might drop a bit more before it has that bounce, but you know, when I say here, you know, give or take, not giving a crap about a certain amount of a move, and like how much of that is, it's hard to really define in terms of your average true range and whatnot. In terms of horizontal support and resistance, like, I mean, you saw the drawings I had on a second ago. It's just where they are. And then if you get there might then be new ones, just as if you get up and around these levels at the 206, 208 sort of level, there'll be more ones again, right? Now some people will tell you like that those levels, this is where you want to be getting, right? Now I believe that you want to be finishing open and close a candle at like 2169 something, 216, 217, right? That's where I think that GME is going to go, right? I think it's going to go there. I think it's going to go much lower before it. Go a tiny bit, but I don't think it's going to go much lower. I think that's where it's going, right? And the technical analysis suggests that it's just way easier than going down. And that's as simple as it gets. It just is way easier, right? And if it does get there, there'll be people buying it anyway down below there. And in terms of how much further it can go and then how much further it can go, way easier to go up here. So obvious. So, like, I mean, yeah, I think this is a buy. But other people will tell you, like, no, panic! Which is cool. They can do whatever. You're making a simple thing very complicated about an audience. You are making a Sorry, Mike, am I shit? Sorry, pardon, sheet. You're making a simple thing way complicated about an audience. People have such short attention spans these days and no patience. Actually receiving quality takes both. You quality. So I mean, I don't compromise to Japan these days, and no patients receiving quality takes both your quality and quality. They need to give quality. Yes, true, but also you need to work with these people, because there's some people out there get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, and they're doing something right, and it can't just be that they all start at exactly the same time every day. Surely, I've not done really into TA yet, so I don't know how this is working. What are people saying? Are they actually watching? What's it say? This thing, 400. So it's like up floating at around 400. That's not bad. And I missed things. Scrolling back through them, there he is. Deep retrace trades. Luke Spears, the legend, 6969. You own that number. You're a legend, Luke. Thank you so much, Luke, for everything you do. You're such a legend. Thank you so much, man. Dan Weldo, $5. Thanks, Dan. Nice one. Cheers, buddy. No message, nothing. Just thanks. Vic Vince, I'm prepared to do this for about 40 years, but then I'm starting to run out of life expectancy. I think, yo, Vic Vince, I wonder, I don't know, I heard something the other day about life expectancy. People were born in the 1980s, and I was like, what? No way, I don't have to live that long, do I? Seeking Alpha was one of my favourite jokes, with a built-in premise of what kind of person to avoid. Seeking Alpha, you've read that nonsense too. That was where I first heard about it at GME, right? Somebody I know sent me a newsletter talking about how it's a good, like, what do you think of Gme? And I was like, reading that, like, and that was when I first heard of it, and I was like, I wonder, I mean, I had plenty of feelings about Seeking Alpha at the time, but then afterwards I was like, and it was the question that was put to me was with somebody. Anyway, it's like I really hate people who are like, oh, I know a guy who knows a guy who's told me this bit of information. Right? I know a guy who knows a guy, but I know a guy. He's like one of the top traders at Citigroup, right? He's one of the best traders in the world, and based on what his bonuses and that are, I'd say so. And I asked him various questions. I was like, I wonder if I can get some questions and get information on the show, right? And make it more interesting for people. And like, I'll tell you about this guy one day, right? I can't tell you about him right now, but I'll tell you about him one day. Anyway, me and him have got a funny story. And anyway, right? I was asking him various questions. One of them, I was like, yo, buddy, is the economy about to go down the toilet? Right? Is it about to go down the toilet? And he said, like, straight up, I've got no idea. I've spent 10 years thinking the economy is about to go down the toilet, and now I'm just confused. So I was like, well, I can't use that on the show. That's useless. And ribbed him for a bit. So, but we'll see, right? Maybe he'll actually come on. That'd be interesting. Maybe, don't know. So thanks. I'm prepared to do this for 40 years, but I'm starting to think I've run out of life expectancy. You won't let it run out of life expectancy. They'll keep inventing new things, man. They want you to stay alive and work for the man forever. Tradespotting, is it possible for the price to rise to the previous all-time high to create a bigger cup with 480 as the border? Yeah, it's just like the way these things tend to work is like 7 weeks, and the longer they go on, the stranger they start to look. And if you came up again, instead of it being like a cup and handle, it would be like a huge harmonic, right? That this would be like it would be like I mean, I don't know where you'd be drawing it from, right? But let's say it's right, like, depending on how this plays out. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Like, depending on how far low this goes, you'll be in a huge harmonic, and with this higher high than over here, it looks like I don't know if you do these things right, but it looks very much to me like very close to like a bullish Gartley. It could go fucking crazy, right? It could go freaking crazy, right? If we turn around here, this is it, right? Now people are just going to copy this TA, and I wanted to do this myself with the drawings and make it look great, right? So now when you see this coming out after the 13th, Tuesday, July the 13th, right? You'll know somebody's like lifted this, and if they don't give me credit, feel free to tell them what I think of them. This is a huge bullish Gartley potentially coming out of this here now, if there is, right? And this thing could go like, it could go as far as like down to here, and that's still nearly beyond. You could get like a really, really, really quick in your face slapped with a huge trout move up to 500, right? Like super fast, super fast, like faster than. Obviously there'd be like people computer switching off and whatnot, but faster than this, like faster than this. How long did this take? 13th to 28th. Yeah, like that took 2 weeks. Way faster than that. Like less than half of that amount of time, right? That's how long that a move like that could happen. Completely and utterly, right? And now people afterwards would be like, "There is no way," right? You know, people in chat saying like, "This is you said it would never get this low," sort of idea. Right now, you didn't. And I'm not saying that, and that is mischaracterization. But you know, generally speaking, people feel some people, and that's other chat rooms are saying like that. But like that's what they're saying. And I'm saying like, yeah, give it 4 or 5 days. You could move to 525 bucks. Yes, I'm saying that. Yes, and how do you fit that into your brain? You know, how do you fit that into your brain? Jamie, how do you fit that into your brain? I can't fit that into my brain, people will say. And it's fair enough, I understand, and that's why I don't want to say it, because... So that was it's possible for the price to rise to the previous all-time highs to catch a bear cup and handle. Yeah, so what I'm saying is like, no, that won't be a cup and handle anymore. It'll be something else, probably something better. It'll be a bullish Gartley. It could also be like, you know, I mean, like, there's just like, this is higher than here, right? And especially if you go to like 2-day time frame and start drawing this out, right? With that demand line catching it here. You know, this is a high enough one, right? What's the retrace on that? Just as it happens. Where do we draw it from? Start from here. You know? Right. I'm talking about, and if you add that in with another touch of divergence, right? You add that in with touch of divergence, you add in a 4-hour MACD cross. And if you've got the right signal and rocky outcrops DMI, while you're touching support or just below what was like long-term, like a longer-term time frames, body close candle on the way up, like confluent with other areas of support and resistance, then holy bejogles, like, you know. That you don't know, but like, that's the technical analysis, right? People will come back and they'll be like, "Oh my goodness, technical analysis," right? And then they'll dive in thinking that they know what they're doing. They won't. They'll get liquidated. The technical analysis, yes, it's the answer. And we're assuming it won't happen until the end of the year. That's what keeps you safe. A good assumption. Tradespotting. Speaking of Investopedia being wrong, is there an actual time frame ratio between the handle and the cup? And the guy that did it came up with it, like William O'Neill. He said that like. He likes them on weekly time frames. He likes to see them like 7 to 9, like 7. He said 7 when he first started, weeks long, right? And then later on, if you read the stuff, he said 9 weeks. I always said 9. It's like, no, you didn't, mate. He said 7. And so like at least like that's what I read it as. And then later on when he goes on to talk, and like when in that same thing what I was reading when he was talking about that, he was talking about how actually like the retraces the 618, the this, the that, and the next thing, like how it fits into other things, and how he himself used it with other things, and yada yada yada, and that, and what was the question? So like he talked to himself about on the weekly time frames, and they often frustrate people. But this is similar to what the harmonics that I was just talking about there. You know, they'll often be like sort of thick. I pay attention to on a weekly time frame or daily, right? Daily, weekly. Like taking it any further than that, it's like okay, whatever. Also, like when you combine it with like the deep effing retraces, and you're looking at harmonics, and you're talking about like the completion of a harmonic pattern. That's what I like to see. Like I like a harmonic pattern that's completed already. I'm not interested in like getting in the A to B, the C to the D move, the X to the thing move. I hate all that. I hate that crap. It's like the antithesis of trading, Like I respect people who put good work into doing Elliott waves, but I can tell you, having seen them do it for many years, that most of them miss the big waves. Right, that's when they know that they've missed it. It's when the big wave happens, and sure, then they've got a little bit to trade on the end of it, and Like, there's like other ways of doing it, right? Especially if you're using Elliott waves and like you're doing it properly and you're basing them on Fibonacci's, and then you're doing your Fibonacci's just like, anyway, I'm not going to say too much about it because it'll turn into like, what's happening, right? All the technical analysts that do Gme will turn into harmonics traders all of a sudden. You'll be like, where'd they get all that from? Anyway, just like, I'll start doing it so that you can see what it's like, because it's nice, right? And it's like what I'm talking about is like a 90% success rate in trading. 90% right now. I do other things, and I've tried to get rid of them, but I can't, and I've got an 88% success, give or take, right? It's like you have to judge it at any one time, so it's about 88%. Tried various things over the years, whatever. Anyway, harmonics, right? Some people say they're 90%, and when you use them with all loads of different other things at the time, it's like they're so good. They are really good. What are we talking about? I'm missing things still, probably, and I feel bad for doing it. I'm sorry. Tradespotting. Speaking of Investopedia, that was it, and that's as far up as the messages let me go. Thanks, Jamie. Oh, that was that. I got that one. And then, is that it? Yeah, that's it for everything. Got everything. In the future, after Moss, trademark the GME pattern. There's Buck. In the future, after Moss, trademark the GME pattern. Well, I already put out the GME chart as a shirt, and I'd like happily sue someone. I'd love it. I'd love to sue someone for stealing copyright. I reward people who put creative effort into helping anyone like me. I try and reward them as much as possible, and I don't think they get enough reward. And I think that like creativity isn't valued high enough in any way, right? And then I deeply resent those artists that make so much money, and perpetuate this idea of like art being exclusive, and that I hate it. I fucking hate it. And so then I've got my own art, right, which is a poster. It costs 10 grand and or 100 grand. I can't remember, whatever it is. It's a bargain. Can you check out AMC when you have a minute? Oh, I've got a minute. I will do. And I think creative people should be valued. And if you, I try to pay them, whatever. But people should be given fair for the value. What am I saying? Anyway, I can't remember what I'm saying. So if anyone steals my shit, I'll sue them. Matthew P. Forrest, I gambled 25 years ago. It was quite a reserved little level of gambling there. It's sensible. And a huddle on my point. Super Cashy's got a different strategy altogether. I am not arguing against it. We would have one of these in heists. What? One of what's? I see now. I see. Cool. Right. I think I've got everything, but I don't know. Does this thing tell me if I've missed donations? Bait buckets for a beer in the garden or whatever. Wish I was in the lake. Oh, I wish I was at a lake and the garden's got sun on it, and I should do some TA and then take a break, because people don't like the all-day videos, I don't think, and then come back and then do a video later rather than just have it hanging on a chart over lunchtime. But then everyone will go and watch somebody else and then they'll not come back. But well, that's just the way it goes, Jamie. So I'm going to do the TA, I'm going to cover CLF and AMC, and then have a look at SPY, and then I'm going to go and sit in the sunshine for 15 minutes or however long it is. Schedule a stream so you know when I'm coming back. I'll be on obviously before the market close, like for at the very least an hour before it, and probably time after it too, and I'll do whatever you want me to do, and do the TA and do the market close clip and whatnot. I'll do a TA now, probably make it a clip and publish it, and all those little things, and see why people unsubscribing. Don't unsubscribe to me or I'll find you and I'll stuff a subscription down your face. Sam Riley has subscribed. Thanks, Sam. You heard that? No, you can't unsubscribe. It's the rules. Please, bait buckets. Thanks, bait buckets. That's very generous. I would like a beer in the garden. I've got 1 tin of beer left in the fridge, so I might have that and some lunch. That'd be nice. Maybe not though. Ban Summer #1 fan has subscribed. Thanks. Vic, that's a good name. Who is? But Dan's up. Are you my #1 fan? Because that's very, very privileged to meet you. And thanks for the long answer. Cool. Got Nikita. Sweet, mate. Cheers. Yeah, no problem. Detailed answer. Like, just having a conversation, really. It's not, it doesn't even feel like an answer. It's just like chatting, eh? We're just chatting, really, Nikita. Nice to meet you. And thanks for being so generous with your contributions. It's appreciated. Right, 185.00. Feels good. Looks good. Feels good, man. This feels good. Also, like, you know, when you panic, right? You know, it's like, look around, right? And so many different people here that are taking orders at different places that have waited, you know, and they were desperate to get them. Like, people that are just want one share, just want one share, and they know they can't afford to spend more than $185 on it, or their girlfriend will dump them, or, you know, they'll have to go hungry for like 2 weeks and they can't manage another 2 weeks, or whatever. You know, and people are doing that sort of thing. So look around you and be like, yo, mate, like, there's goodness that comes from these moments. There are. What you really want is like prices to then be above 200 and look back and be like, yo, I'm so glad for your guy, whatever his name is, and your girl, whoever, whatchamacallit you give me. It's always good looking back when you're up a bit, but they need to be here for them to get anything. Yo, Leptonics. Work making it difficult to tune in today. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Have a fantastic day. Lepton, you're a legend. And when you are around, you're such a good contributor in every way. I mean, with chat and all the rest of it. And that's quite a big donation. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Lepton. Thank you very much. 15 bucks. That's not nothing in any place, in any town. Certainly not mine. Thank you very much. And Lynn Vitapatawat subscribed. What is that, Lynn? Vitapawat. Vitapawat. Lynn Vitapawat. That's a nice last name. I'm obviously butchering it, but it looks like it reads nice. Right. So 185. Let's do this TA. Yo, let's do it. Do it, TA. Jimmy. And then do another one. Do another one. And then sunshine. Right. Bring on the prices roll. I'm Jamie, this is Tradespotting, and this is TA clip done for busy folks who don't have time to tune into the live stream or look through things. So we'll start off on what time frame are we on? Well, the 2-day, and it looks like we're putting in quite a positive retrace here. It could obviously go lower and you catch this line. You've got various places before there and it might be picked up. Why? Well, we'll see as we drop through the time frames, but you can see that indicators. No buy signals yet coming on these long-term time frames on that indicator, and then nothing really happening on that, but you wouldn't expect it. All you can really say is that momentum still isn't as bad as it's been to the downside yet, or is it just about but not yet? Top side had a bit of divergence here, which is why perhaps prices came back, testing these areas of support. Perfectly normal. What are those areas? Well, we are, and they're a little bit lower, maybe down at 177, maybe down at 166. Don't necessarily see that happening, but if it does, it's a buy. For loads of different reasons, but you're looking at the higher time frames, it could well be that things like shoot there and come back, so there's a close way up and you don't even notice that happened until somebody tells you or look at a chart. And do I think that's going to happen? Well, not really. I think the passive least resistance is to the top side, 184.90, and we're on daily time frame. Keeping these oscillators on, right? They're reasonably simple, so we'll have them here as we go through things and just talk about what they mean, even though I didn't necessarily plan on looking at them every time frame. We can see that we've got lower low on RSI. Prices themselves aren't lower. It is a downtrend. We would like prices to start finishing higher, and for this not to look like divergence. Not to look like negative divergence. You can see that there's a downtrend in RSI. It'd be nice to capture the exponential moving average that comes with this one, and then make your way to the top side and see at the center line. It'd be good to see that as prices moved up to test higher levels of support, resistance. Below us, you've got levels, but it seems that this momentum is sort of starting to fade, really, on the daily time frame. It's like coming up that this may eventually put in a cross, and if you could get a touch of positive momentum on this, we'd be able to assess it better. And with regards to trend, but you can see again on the daily, you've got this lower low in RSI. As somebody pointed out in chat recently, it's very rarely been this low. and when it is, you've had huge bounces. Obviously, if you just go for it quickly with a ruler, you can see like here was like where it is not even that low before, and you had this rise up, right? This was a huge one. It was 140, 150%, and had in around here, this sort of area, and then those moves again. Like this is a log chart, should be anyway. Screwing with me today, and yeah, where was it? Well, it was in around here, and you had to move up. It's like this sort of one. I mean, ultimately, it was like thousands%, but you know, the bounce from this RSI until say it made it up into this peak on this RSI before the next one was again like that was 200 and something%, right? I can't see it over there, but it looks what it looks like. So that's what this is, right? It looks like the sort of place where prices bounce from historically. It's what we've seen. We've had a lot of coiling and tightening on the price action in terms of volatility. That's coming, as you would expect, in line with really low volume. The way these things are, they tend to explode and react differently. Now, there's been no explosion yet. That's quite obvious from volume. And we'll put on the HPV and see. But yes, I can see, like, also now we're on this time frame and we've stretched the chart, so you can see that we're in this reasonably, this clear downwards channel. Or is it a wedge? Or is it a channel or is it a wedge? Well, oops. It does actually look like a wedge for various different reasons at this stage. Oops. Let's zoom in so that I'm less fiddly with things. Yeah, this looks an awful lot like a wedge for various reasons, right? Yes it does. And then your first touch, what would it be? Like maybe something like that. Not asking for too much, and see it does that at the 236, it'll take it straight up here towards 618, 214, 216, 217. Like that's what I'm expecting to happen. Right, Market Watch are telling you that this is going down, they're telling you that this is the place to open shorts, and they say the same thing, the same mistake that Seeking Alpha made, telling you to take shorts here. So you've got these newsletters out there with hundreds of thousands of people who subscribe and pay to get that kind of advice. Wonderful, isn't it? Wonderful. There, but for the grace of Go I, right. So dropping down then, 12 hour, don't like spend too much time here, but you can see that there's another reason why it might turn out to be a bounce. You've got the 100 period exponential moving average coming in. Is it? Actually, it's a simple 100 period simple moving average. Yellow, orange. Orangey. It's not yellow, it's orange. Coming in here, and that's a very good reason to bounce. It's also tested it once, and here it is again. If you do it on the oscillators, you can see it's actually lower on RSI, but we're still dropping down momentum on Amc Ta. 4 hour, here you're starting to see a little bit cleaner picture on price action with regards to these Fibonacci levels and other areas of support and resistance that I've marked in with these horizontal lines. And I'll start drawing on the fibs that you would have seen elsewhere. This is the move from the bottom of this move, like just this move, below the 618, not great, want to recover that. Send it around 194, and then...
Harley Quinn, nice to meet you.
236 on this. Oops,
Sorry.
doing that. 236, which you would want to recover is in around 207, so you've got like clear levels above you. On those ideas of that fib, but this one here, like you're really using that when you could clear, like this is actually the low.
That's how it's done. Who's next?
That's me!
There's your high, and your 618 is in at around 177, right? 100 in that sort of area. Well, we've tested once or twice and been above there. That's all cool, right? You would expect a bounce there. So for various reasons, right, you're expecting a bounce at this area on the 2-day time frame. Yeah, sure, there could be like a wick and a close higher, and you've got this wedge on the go, and you've got this demand line underneath us, and it does look like there's maybe a little bit of a distance, and which might speak to a wick. And then on the daily time frame, you can see this wedge is obviously quite clear, but you're coming in at the 100 period simple moving average. That's a really good reason for a bounce. You drop down, you look at these time frames, you can see again that's where the 100 is on the 12 hour, more or less, right? Especially with the body closes as opposed to the wick. So that's again speaks to that moving average, maybe paying attention to it. And then you're on the 4 hour, and you can see that we've had a test of the 618 retrace on this Fibonacci. It's where we've been saying it would go for a while. I know other people haven't maybe heard that, but it has been quite a clear message. And then you're also testing this 200 period simple moving average on the 4 hour, which is a very strong reason for a bounce. Not just in most assets most of the time, but it's also been where we've seen big bounces and big moves, right? Moved out of it here, that was the start of this move. This is like as close as it got here. This is as close as it got again. Now you've got that sort of thing on the go. Another time it's got a positive slope. It's got a lot going for it, really. It's still losing candles from 200 periods ago. You got a ruler on the go and work that out and see. It's 224 bars, 223. So where's 200 stop? 192, 200. Right, so you're losing all these sort of bars are coming off as price actions up here, and this is a moving average which calculates an average of price over those 200 closes, and over those 200 closes you're losing all these, and you're gaining ones that are like way higher. This thing's going to start poking up and up and up, and as long as prices are above it, that's a trend, right? That speaks to a long-term trend, and prices the trend is your friend until the end. So that's those things, and then let's drop down. I've nearly forgot we're on a clip here. This is TA for busy people, not messing around. Whoa, pit stop there, just for a breather. Right, you're looking to recover this 236. It's important, and then you're looking, if you do get there, to head for the 618, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think prices are going to recover this. Oh, here's Rocky. Yes. Or is it the wind? Yo! 187. Yeah, so prices, I think they're going to recover 187. Does that mean that they're going to do it? I'm not looking at oscillators. I'm just talking about what I fucking believe. Well, we've got above the exponential movement of it's on this. We've got above the EMA on the RSI. We've come out of the oversold zone. Reaccumulated this here. I wouldn't be surprised about that. This low is so much lower than here, but not lower than here yet. Prices, did they manage to get lower? No, not really. What about on the hourly? Do we see anything there? No, again, not lower. So no thing. No, this could potentially just be that this turns around here, but there's no screaming signal that put for reason to people to jump on it. And I do suspect that perhaps there is room for a 177 test somewhere. It's a 177 and change. There is room for that, right? It does speak that there's easily room for that. It's beyond that I don't see there being much room for. Now, it could happen depending on what the books are like in the 165 area. It would then be another huge bounce. Right now, I was talking about it in the live stream, which is still happening as I make this clip, which is about, it looks like if it did get there, it'd be like a rocket ship taking off out of a volcano, out of the heart of a volcano, and that's the sort of thing we'd be talking about, and it would look like that because that's what would frickin' happen. So I think you recover this 236. I think you're going to fight for support and resistance on these smaller time frames, and then I think you're looking for moves up to the 207, and then above there you're looking at 216, 217. When you break that 217, open close in a 4 hour, then things are getting really very interesting. And on the 1 minute, what's happening? Well, there's the RSI. It's going up. It's going crazy. Look at that. Oh my goodness. These are lots of flashes of positive candles. Look at that. It's W bottom. Got your W bottom, you've got your positive divergence there with a lower low on price action, but higher and price. This is going up, it's going to test that. That's cool. It's got this bullshit. There it is. Push. You're touching the 100. It's a pause for thought. See what happens. Who knows? Well, if you were tuning into the live stream, you'd get to follow along with me. So do that sometime. Thanks very much for watching. In the meantime,
That's how it's done.
Yeah. Ha! Yay! We made a clip, folks. Was that good? Was that good enough? I think it was. And Rocky has arrived down, and the time is 7:18. I was going to look at CLF for your chap, and I'll do that after a break. Oh, Jamie, you're just being naughty. You're not respecting the audience. You should look at it quickly. Okay, I will do, because the chap paid something for it, so you should do that. So look at CLF. And what else was I going to look at? Somebody wanted me to look at AMC. That wasn't actually necessarily part of the plan though. AMC, it's 39.95. I said yesterday it's probably going to 36, but it could go to 26 if the bottom falls out of it. It depends how the market participants treat it. And then I got I lost lots of subscribers, so Why is that Fibonacci there? That's weird. Why is that there? What is this? I can't remember what that is because the prices were already down there, so I don't know why it would have been there. The price you need to recover on AMC is 41.24, and it touched there and bounced off it again. I probably even said that was going to happen in yesterday's video. Like I probably said all of this. That's where you need to recover. Oh, that's there. It should be there, and then you want to get up to 45.36, which is again 46, right? That 46 level is important for this asset, and let's go up to the 4 and briefly look at that and see. So you've got divergence possibly coming in on your MACD, bullish divergence, but you've got bearish divergence on the RSI if we don't go lower. So there's nothing fantastic there yet. 15 minutes. If it can close above there, great. This doesn't look, that's screaming that it's going to. There's a lower low on RSI there too, so it's not even that there. You could talk about that. You could do, it's like Gme's tiny one though. It's this tiny touch of divergence there. It's not going to be enough to push it up, right? And it's already more or less filled that gap. Not more or less. It's less. Close enough, near enough? Not really. It's still going to try that. It'll probably come up and test on around 43 something there, maybe even a tiny bit higher, and then then we'll see if it can pick up some pace on the downside. But it's not got the stuff underneath it lighting. It's bum on fire at the minute, which you would like to see in CLF. If I got that on my chart or what? If I haven't, then it's gonna take a while. I suppose I should organise them alphabetically if I'm going to go and look through everything I've got on here, eh? I don't see it. There, I do see it. There it is. I've not done any work on it though. Yo! How are you doing? You're just about finished. I'm doing very well, thanks. Okay, will you make the refreshments? Yeah. Thanks. Sweet. What do we see here, right? You had a hugely bearish divergent. This isn't much of a retrace yet. It's probably going to put in head and shoulders, and it's probably going to come down again, right? So, what's this going to do? Well, this is going to do dum-ba-doo-boom, boom-ba-doo-boom, oop-a-doo-boop-a-doom, bump. Dump lower. 5 minute time frame. You're going to do it all in 5 minutes, Timmy. It's too bearish. The divergence is too bearish. Well, it's had that already. It's obviously an important level there. Let's say that's your hey, like this is going here, isn't it? Hey, how to lose subscribers, how to annoy people and lose subscribers. This is going to $21.35. The How to Lose Subscribers by Gme. How to Piss People Off by Gme. Woo! It's gonna be head and shoulders. It's gonna do this. It's gonna then do that, and then it's gonna fail. It's never gonna, probably not gonna get above that height again. Right? We can move that across so you can see where it is. It'll be lower. It might just stop now. Might go on and get there and then collapse, but that's what's going to happen. And then it's going to come down to this level. Oh my god, it could be so much worse. It could even do this, and then it could come down, and then there you go, right, yeah. Sugar me sugars. Sugar me sugars, me hearties. Yeah, it's going to do that, yo. You might get an entry there at 21.70 or something, right? But this is not a buy zone for my books. You've got negative there, it could turn positive soon. That's recovered. Center line, it's all doing good there. That's great. But that says, and then the 4 hour. Hey, it's not so bad. Kind of looks good, right? Maybe it's just a reversion to the mean, Jamie. Maybe you're getting excited there. No, it's not. No, that's what it's doing. Yep. That's not divergent. That's not divergent, and that's all positive momentum. That's all congratulations. Congratulations. Yep, let's come back to there, probably. What does this say? That was your move. You've had that move. That was the move, and you've had it. See like how assets test these things on the 4 hours. I was saying that's on daily. That's the extension of that failure. If it does fail, then there you go. Well, it's like there you go. That's just what it is. It is what it is, right? And then where are you looking to if this all works out, right? Well, it's in a very, very, very. It's had a very, very bullish go at things there. So what do we see? Well, actually, we also see this here, which is negative. This is also very negative. Right. Is this a buy? Some people buying this, are they? I see that comes up and fails from there, and then you're getting a test in around 200 again. This is the low of that low conflict there. Yep, and then there's like if all arse falls out of it, it's going to $13, right? So that's that. Wait, Jamie, you should be more excited for people. Look at the moves they've had on this. Well, congratulations if you've had it from there, and well done. That's there. That's where that stop is. Let's just give one target and then stop confusing people, right? Right, so I'll take some of your CLF when it gets to $14.40. That's when it looks good to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the chat is with it, but it looks terrible, right? It looks terrible, even though it looks great. That's the CLF. And what was the next one I was supposed to be doing?
I need a volunteer.
Well, I'll just have a look at that at the end of the day, right?
Come at me with an
imaginary
imaginary
stuff anyway. Awesome. So this, I think I met all of my obligations.
That's how it's done.
I have the T8. We are going to fall to 178 in an hour, and tomorrow we are hitting $400 mark. My word, set a wager with me. Set a wager with me. Well, I've already got plenty of wagers on, buddy, with other people. On the charts for my trades, but let's have a wager. Why? I want to agree with you. Why would I want? Is that not the TA I just said? But I also said maybe it goes up to 500. Is that not what I said? Why would I bet against that? That sounds like quite a nice one. I like it. I also very much appreciate the super chat. Somebody bet against Jay there. Who wants to bet against him? Somebody will. Paul B. Okay, thank you, Jamie. Okay, Paul. Right now, that's the. I like you, sugar. Right, so that's looking bad. Like what I really mean about that is like, hey, who cares? Why am I saying all that stuff? What I want to really tell people is to watch out for certain areas. That's what's to be sensible for this on certain areas. Paul Wees asking a good question, and just because all those things happen doesn't necessarily mean much. Personally, what I want to, chances are you probably aren't underwater in this, and if you are, not by much, so that's not terrible. Obviously it could like go on up and do testing around 25, 26. That's all possible, and if that happens, fair play to everybody who held on to it, but it went through this divergent top. Why would you want to do that? That's not how I trade. Like I want to kind of say that might turn out to be positive, right? This is the area you want to hold, right? You want to be holding 22.70, 22.60, right? Hold. You want to be holding that. If you don't, it's dodgy, right? That's what I'd say. And I know that it's above that now, and that, but I'm saying like it's probably getting there. If it doesn't, even better, right? If you're in this from way below, you could put a stop loss there. You'd be happy with that, right? or you could follow up on that. You could watch what it does here. I don't know what how you're trading in that. And it's not financial advice. Sugar, yeah. Bet against Tradespotting C8. No, I won't do it. Ignore gamble kidney. When you guys see 178 an hour, so go balls deep because it's gonna fly from that level. Woohoo! G, where is it? Let's see, Gme is where we're ending things on. Gme. Yeah, so what's happening? Is this going to go up? We had the tiny minute time frame. We're like, whoa, was that on this? Or was it? Or were we doing the minute time frame looking at it and it was the minute, right? And we touched it went beyond it. And now we're back at it. Hey, Tradespotting. The bet against Tradespotting. No! Plenty of people are, right? Like all the people going short on this are betting against it. This is quite a steep trend. You've been in there, touched the centre line. I could see it come back a wee bit more. What's this here in it? Around 184. That's not very low. Your chap says 178. 178. 177, 97. 177, 90. 177, 77, 7. Or that's what we said very opening bell. We said you'd be looking at 177 and maybe it'd be 177, 97. Says it underneath my mouse there. Yeah, 177, 97. We said that. So your chap J and I agree on that front. And then we also said, I said though I'd prefer to get it 17777 or 17769 because they're nicer numbers. Shout out to Luke. And then yeah, so that's possible. And then what did we say? 400. That dog barking at somebody. And then it's at the top 400. People take their dogs for walks near my flat because there's a little bit of green outside. Coco. What happened there, Rocky? Rick? Someone shouting Coco. Yes, I'll go and check on that in a second. Why do people take their dogs for walks here? Like, take them for an actual walk, you lazy git. Right, Dan Watt, Wellsdale, ×3. Yeah, big time, ×3. Right, I had a clip of Gme that I'm going to put out there. Yeah, cool. So 400 straight after the bounce from 178. Well, we'll see. It takes a bit of time, maybe. I just put 10 contracts for the July 30th. Contracts, huh? July 30th. Why those ones? That's very soon. 10 contracts. 10 contracts. That's 1,000 chars. That's the 30th of July. Whoop whoop. That's a very big investment, Jay. Tradespotting. I'm in 1 minute chart is linear. Now it's linear again. No, I've on log. Look, it says log. Click it and it goes to linear on log. Sorry, I've got HCI there. Can you guys see log and linear on my chart where it says it? No, you can't. But this is like this is log. I just clicked. There's log. That 1 minute chart. That's log. Why are people thinking it's linear? Eyes. But though it has been jumping around, I did that once today. Now I have to investigate it. Thanks very much for keeping me on, and looking at that. My eye, for goodness sake, right? I'm just going to end it now because my eye's going to do my head in. So thanks so much for everybody tuned in. How many people are still here right now? Tell me at the top. 392. So it's cool, quite consistent around the 400 mark all day. That was really good. Thanks so much, everybody. It's really appreciated. And thanks for everyone who donated and things. Super chatted to $5. I love it to you. We're going to 11. Seth Idle. Do you and your bro ever do some Sunday to... What does that say? It's tiny. Why isn't that not on my bigger screen? I can make it bigger though, can't I? Why is it grey? Be white. Do you and your bro ever do Sunday Sun Tzu type stuff where you attend other YouTubers' shows that might be sketchy just to test their vulnerabilities? No, I don't do that. Some of my YouTubers are really sketching me out lately. Nah, I don't do that. I don't really believe it's my job to figure out if other people are this or that, the next thing. But I've got like a couple of things, like Charlie's vids, right? He's got a group of people in his audience who go around saying negative stuff about me. It's fucking whack, right? And I've said a couple of times here that you should tell them to stop, and they're still doing it. And they do it to people like Ape Andy and that. They send them messages about me, and they're sending them to loads of people. And it's total bullshit. People should stop doing that. And so I think that when people do stuff that like reaches into my sphere of my world, and it's like and it's not negative, then I'm like, well, that guy's whack, he should fix that. And if any of you guys are doing that, I'd also feel like that's not good, like going around telling people that, like, you know, that people were like because the message that I know about Charlie's vids are ones are because the message is all about how great he is, in a totally in a conversation that's got nothing to do with him, and then says negative things about me, right? And the same message was sent by two different people to one person. So it's like, what's that all about? And is it directly coming from him? You should just put a stop to it if it is, and if it isn't, then what? You should still put a stop to it by saying that it's not him. And then, so I don't like that. And then there's other YouTubers who say things that like disturbs people in my audience about like, oh, the FTDs will never be paid, or like, no, this insurance fund doesn't do this, or that doesn't do that, and that's fair enough. Other people have got their understanding on things, and the truth is, when I look at it all, I think like, oh, that's maybe not accurate, or that guy's maybe misunderstood something, or that's generally how I feel about them. I don't think they're trying to be shills, and so like I just tell how I see it, right? My answers to the questions, and like that's fine, right? Because I don't want to have arguments with people. And then there's other people I've fallen out with before who now respect, right, and think of like, other people don't like them, but I respect them. Andrew Mulmoney being one of them. Like, I respect some of the things he's done, And the more I get to know other people, the more I like them. So, like, and that's the way it is. Like, I fall out with people and I get friends again with people, and that's, like, the way it happens. I think that's normal. That's certainly normal for me in life, anyway. And, like, I couldn't give two flying shits what people actually think of me, so I don't expect people to give a flying shit what I think of them. Why is Gme's ticker not working on my thing here? It should have been working, but it's definitely all wrong. Because I've got these indicators on. If I do that, it changes. Does that change it here? No, it's still at the same place. Why is that like that? Why is that like that? Why is that happening? And then, like, and I also hate it when people go after people on the internet. It's, like, just so, like, passé and, like, below us, especially us apes going after someone on the internet. Like, what? Like, it's well naff, stupid, and I also think trolls, like, there's most trolls are fannies, but there is a role for it, and like I think that like I've been, like, for years I grew, like I've been, like, I know all about healthy trolls, and like I think that there is a part of it in the atmosphere that's like fine. I've seen them stick up for people that deserved it, like big groups of people from 4chan's come and stick up for people that people were trying to troll because they're not like the right person to troll or whatever. And I think there's like honor among that type of community as well. Like, so that's just generally what I'm speaking. Don't know why. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. No idea. I said I was going to go and do something recently. Well, I can't remember what it was though. Looks weird. Screenshotted, Che. What did we screenshot? Oh, you had a bet, did you? That's sweet. It will touch 800 early next week and 2k first week of August latest. Screenshot this. Mark my words, boys and girls. Yo, Jay. Well, if you're buying it and putting it there, then I'm not going to bet against you. How does one get in onto the Discord? How does one get into the Discord? Luke Spears, you should have a direct access. Rocky, can you send Luke a link to an invite to the Discord so he can get in? Luke. How do we do it? Don't want to give it to everyone at the minute, right? Do you have his address or something? How do I get in contact with you, Luke? I'll send you the link. What? You'll get one and he'll give it to you, Luke. Rocky will get you one, give you one. Well, the Discord's getting so much better, eh? It's brilliant. We're putting loads of stuff. Love Charlie vids. Shame people are doing that. Yeah, that's true. It is a shame people are doing that because I've seen a couple of things that seemed alright from what his stuff was, and that. So I would have liked us to have been friends. Also, we're like two of the people who cover GME, so it's like, it's annoying, eh? Because previously a lot of the crap I've got has just been from like not from any particular area or place, but I suspect it's people who are like much more into AMC than GME, because like obviously like people, even if they hate me, if they like GME, they're like, well, he's on the same side. So it's annoying. It's annoying, eh? Like, it's super Tradespotting. Would I also be able to get into the Discord? I sent you messages on Reddit. Supernova, you should. I don't really get round to messages a ton of timely fashion anymore. I feel so bad about that. Got a link. 10 people can use it. Lasts 1 day. Okay, awesome. Well done, Rocky. There it is in the chat. So quickly get to it. Quickly. Thanks so much. I'm going to publish this video I made, and then I'm going to sit in the sunshine with Rocky. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. I'm aware of it today. I've had the ticker in all the wrong places, and I've spent loads of time talking about nonsense. And I'm sorry if that's distracted everybody. I will be back. What time is it now? 5:30. I'll get. It's not only like 12 minutes of sunshine before it moves. I'll be back on for just before Power Hour, and I'll take it till after Power Hour and cover everything everybody wants to talk about. Thanks, Christian and just James, for subscribing. Seth beforehand, 11:11. Oh yeah, that was answering 11:11. Seth Idle. Do I go in and do Sung Soo stuff? I don't know. Like, nah, I don't do any of that. When I go onto other YouTube, I've not got any time, mate, at all. I've not got any time at all to be doing that. Like, actually, I've got a job behind this job, and I do other things that take up a lot of my time and responsibilities, and then I've got like a whole life into shop and clean myself and like clean the house and have everything like reasonable environment to live in. And also then I would really like to have some time off, but I don't really get any. Tradespotting, are you any more excited for tomorrow than any other day, even though every day is a page in the great story ever told? I'm always always the day to look forward to is always tomorrow. And then it's great to wake up looking forward to like the day, and then when it get halfway through be like, I am looking forward to tomorrow, and that. So it's always a positive affirmation. I always tell me that I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and tomorrow is the biggest day yet to come. So yes, I am in that sense. And then and the others, I'm not talking about those others yet, Nathan. Rock out crop. Tradespotting, thanks. You're welcome, Supernovae. You're welcome, everyone. Here it is, the final up to 170. Here it comes, motherfuckers. Hey Jay, you're gonna put yourself on a real tight pedestal if you tight spot if you watch it on minutes and say this is happening now. It could happen anytime over lunchtime, whatnot. Thank you, Jamie. I'm just a dummy from a small town in WI. Where is that? USA, feeling like I'm in PSYOP Twilight now zone. Gonna see if I can get a pic of a rocket out of a volcano. Yeah, I'd love to see that on video. Bam, bam, bam. It's not some sort of James Bond or something. It should be. They should have written that in James Bond. Why isn't it so obvious? Took me even longer to think of it. Limp Dink. What did we think of? Thanks so much. That's a real generous donation. Y-I, Wisconsin. Is it W-I? Or Winnipeg? What else starts with W? Minnesota, Woowark, California, Wexus. Right, I'll stop that now. It's not funny. Thanks, everybody. Ballistic Hawk, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Arnie, you legend. Thanks, everybody. All the members and everybody who supports the channel. Thanks. It's like, thanks so much. It's amazing. Thanks. Changed my life. You did. You changed my life. You did. You guys. Right. Thanks. Right.